This is another iRaw podcast.
I think it is safe to say the honeymoon phase is officially over. Welcome to Wildly Unplugged, sharing stories of nature, conservation, and creativity. Discover what develops when you unplug and step outdoors. Welcome to Wildly Unplugged. This is Wildly Rejected, aka Becoming the Bison. If you're new here, I was inspired by Gabby, who is doing a 1,000 rejection challenge, and I was going to do 100, but nope, I decided to push myself to do 1,000 also, and I'm tired. It's not the kind of tired that a good night's sleep fixes. It's the kind that settles into your bones after a season of constant motion, transitions, uncertainty, and trying to build something meaningful. I got back from Key West yesterday after spending a long weekend celebrating the boy's birthday. My husband turned 45 on the 30th, and my son turned 18 on the 31st. We kayaked, rode bikes, played trivia, did some board games, wandered shops, feasted on some amazing food, and then right before that, I had a one-day turnaround from a trip to Cades Cove that was absolutely amazing, and before that, we spent a week in a cabin in Loveland celebrating Connor's graduation. It's been a lot, and I am very grateful and happy we got to do all that. But now I'm tired. Today, I only submitted 6 applications for my 1,000 rejections challenge, and then I stopped. Not because I couldn't do more, because I didn't want to. A few years ago, I would have pushed through. I would have forced myself to hit some arbitrary number because productivity feels good in the moment, and because I set a goal for myself to reach 10 places to reach out to in a week. I am still ahead of schedule, so I gave myself permission to take a break. I know part of me is going to be reeling when I need to take a break and I'm not ahead of schedule, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. One of the things I talk about all the time is avoiding burnout and recognizing when we're heading towards it. Today, I recognized it. I am mentally tired. I am physically tired. I slept in later than usual. And if I'm being honest, part of me woke up wondering, what's even the point? Maybe it's because a few rejections landed recently, and it's the art rejections that always sting the most. Podcast pitches, they don't hurt too much. A grant rejection or something big I can usually shrug off. But when someone rejects your art, it feels personal because the work came from somewhere personal. I do want to get better at storytelling through my art. I want people to feel something when they see it. I want them to connect with a loggerhead turtle, a monarch butterfly, a landscape, a shark, or a bird the way that I connected with it when I was creating the piece. So yeah, those rejections, they just hit differently. As I was reviewing my rejection tracker today, I noticed something interesting. I've made 115 asks so far. 29 acceptances, 28 rejections, and 58 still in review. So for every 10 asks, I average about 2.5 acceptances and 2.4 rejections. That's almost perfectly balanced. And what's funny is that my brain doesn't remember it that way. My brain remembers the rejections. My brain remembers the no's. My brain remembers the competitions I didn't place in and the opportunities that didn't work out. It also feels like an eternity that it takes for people to get back to me sometimes. And again, thank you, Tracker, for helping to remove that emotion and focus on the facts. The average response time is 8.5 days. But here's the big split. If I get accepted, the average turnback time is about 3 days, and a rejection is about 14 days or more. So those numbers, they tell a different story than what I'm feeling. So I am very, very thankful for that tracker. The numbers say I'm winning almost as often as I'm losing. The numbers say that most opportunities are still undecided. And the numbers say that the challenge is working. And yet, I still feel stuck sometimes. I think part of what makes this season difficult is that Connor is officially 18 now. He's graduated. One chapter is over. For years, being a mom was one of the clearest parts of my identity. Now I'm standing on the edge of a new season that I can't fully see yet. What I wouldn't give to trade some of those long working days for another afternoon with my boy when he was little. It's one of the reasons I push back against hustle culture so much. We are not replaceable at home. No one else gets to be mom to your kids. No one else gets to be you to the people who love you. I know my only purpose isn't motherhood. God has given me many other great gifts: art, storytelling, teaching, conservation, and encouraging people to reconnect with nature. But if I'm honest, everything feels a little bit like it's in limbo right now. I knew I wasn't going to be in Ohio long enough to fully build roots here, and I'm not in Key West long enough yet to feel rooted there either. Not until August. I'm trying to build things online, but when views are low, it can feel like you're shouting into a void. How do creators keep going? How do you keep showing up when nobody seems to be watching? How do you keep creating when the honeymoon phase is over? Because I think that's where I'm at. The honeymoon phase of this challenge is over. At the beginning, every rejection was exciting because it meant I was trying. Now, some days it feels like I'm getting kicked when I'm already down. The rejections sting a little bit less than they used to, but they still whisper old lies. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe nobody cares. Maybe you're wasting your time. Maybe you're just throwing spaghetti at a wall. Today, I caught myself wanting a win, and then I caught myself catching myself. Because that isn't the point. The point isn't to become dependent on wins. The point is to become secure enough that the wins and losses don't determine my worth. The point is to show up anyway. The point is to remember that my identity isn't in acceptance letters, download numbers, sales, views, followers, grants, awards, exhibitions, or podcast ratings. My identity is in Christ. I am his child before I'm an artist. I am his child before I'm a podcaster, a business owner. I am his child before I am successful, and even if I'm unsuccessful. And maybe that's the lesson I'm supposed to learn right now. Maybe this season isn't about building something faster. Maybe it's about building deeper. Maybe it's about trusting that God's timing is better than mine. Maybe it's about believing that I don't have to force the outcome. I can show up, I can do the work, I can submit the application, send the email, paint the painting, record the podcast, and then let it go. Because the outcome was never mine to control in the first place. So today I made 6 asks, not 10, not 20, 6. And today, 6 was enough. Sometimes growth looks like pushing harder, and sometimes growth looks like knowing when to stop. Today, showing up at all was the win. And tomorrow, God willing, I'll show up again. Until next time, friends, unplug, get outside, and see what develops. Stay wild. Wildly Unplugged podcast is a production of Wild Development Studio. The views, opinions, and statements expressed by individuals during Wild Development Studio's productions do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Wild Development Studio or its affiliates. Participation in any activities, expeditions, or adventures discussed or promoted during our content may involve inherent risks. It is strongly advised that individuals conduct thorough research, seek professional guidance, and take all necessary precautions before engaging in such activities or venturing into wilderness areas. Wild Development Studio, its representatives, or employees shall not be held responsible for any injury, loss, damage, accident, or unforeseen incident that may occur as a result of participating in activities inspired by or discussed in our content. By choosing to engage with our content or act upon any information provided, individuals do so at their own risk and discretion.
For more great iRaw podcasts, visit irawpod.com. That's IROARPOD.com.